Played? Yeah. Oh, she played. Wow.
Worried with that. What is that? I mean, it's something. No. Right.
Okay, we're reading the week of Chanukah. Hamoyde de Kavod. You ready feel the notice of menorah. So I really wanted to talk about something that was we were learning now. We're learning now the Gemara of Chanukah. So we learned this week about placing the candle amata masara tvachim. So someone mentioned about it, and someone asked about this. I mean, lamata masara tvachim is pretty low. Masara tvachim is perhaps 31 inches or so, give or take. So that would be pretty low place to put the menorah. So someone asked about it. So first, I want to back up a drop, and I want to talk about where's the chabad minhag of placing the menorah. The chabad
On the cart, on top of the top of the
on top of the car. Exactly. So the Rebbe was walking home on a Friday night, Tavshin Lamed, and he saw in one of the Ziknei Chassidim that there was a menorah by his window, and the Rebbe totally didn't like that, and he spoke about it the next day at the Fabrengen to say that he doesn't understand why someone would be ashamed of their Rebbe's minhag. Definitely, he said that his father-in-law was in the United States of America, and he easily could have put the menorah by the window. The Gemara says there should be a Pesach Beisim Bachutz, and the Machlokes and Rashi and Toisus, it means the door from the house to the Chotzer, or the Chotzer to the Rishon Sarabim. We pass not like Toisus has to be the door from the Chotzer to the Rishon Sarabim. The Gemara says if you can't do that, you do a Bechaloin in the window. If you can't do that, Manishal Shulchan Evidayoy. So
but the windows more so people see it.
the windows where people see it, l'chayda. So the Chabad minhag from the said as his father-in-law used to morning came just in time. So the Chabad minhag is to place it. The Rebbe used to place it, and his father-in-law placed it, and he said definitely that went l'mayla b'kodesh until the Alter Rebbe, and perhaps also the Baal Shem Tov and the Maggid. That they placed it. They placed it on the door in the house, from the dining room to the living room, or from whatever. And Al Pesach, they did Kadeshia Mezuzah Mimin, but they did it in the house between the dining room and the living room. Not, yeah, Mezuzah, but they did it in the house. And furthermore, the Rebbe said definitely. A person could say, "Oh, well, on the Bolsheviks it was a sakona, so you couldn't put it in the window." But in New York City, it was not a sakona, and still the Frierdiker Rebbe did not put it in the window.
I think in this time right now, the sakona. We didn't know.
Yeah, unfortunately, crazy. So what happened? That the Rebbe said that he saw that his father did it not al Pesach Beisa, and he didn't do it on the window. So the shaila is why. The shaila is why. Definitely the Chassidim are doing the way the Rebbe did it. And also, if the Baal Shem Tov and the Maggid did it al Pesach Beisa and Bachutz, we would have heard about it. Lo yishtamit, that someone would have mentioned it. So they didn't do it al Pesach Beisa and Bachutz. Perhaps, I mean, I'm going to nitpick for a second. The Rebbe doesn't say that he's sure that the Baal Shem Tov didn't do it by the window, because that's shayach, because no one would have said something about it, because that was the minhag of a lot of people to do on the window. So if the Baal Shem Tov did it by the window, so it could be the Baal Shem Tov and Maggid did it by the window. But if they did it al Pesach Beis Bachutz, which was not the usual thing to do in Europe, as the Ramah Beferish says in the Shulchan Aruch, b'zman hazeh shekolanim ha'idlikim befnim ve'ein heker lebnei Rishon Sarabim. So if the Baal Shem Tov did it on Pesach Beis and Bachutz, so the Maggid would have heard about it. If they did by the window or not, we don't know. But for sure that the Alter Rebbe didn't do it by the window, because then his son and his grandson and the Friedrich Rebbe would have done it. Okay, so the Rebbe says that the Gemara in Sukkah that the Talmud of Kahana was mahaded to take a adas, which was the Kahana said it's kosher. There was kad and tlos. There was not three that were coming out together. There was two and one that was a little lower. And even though others held it's possible, but he wanted to do dafka the way his Rebbe did it, because he wanted to show that he's going to do it the way his Rebbe does it. So the different Chassidim have nothing to be ashamed of to do the way the Rebbe did it. But the shaila is why did the Rabbeim do it in this way? So so that's the question. The Rebbe gives an answer, and no, I answered based on the Gemara. But the thing is that the Rebbe only answers why we're doing it, why we're not doing it by the window. The Rebbe is not answering why we're not doing al Pesach Beisam and Bachutz. And for this, I'll bring in a moment to talk about the Chanukah Ohr HaChaim from the Minchas Saluzar. He gives an explanation for that. But first, let's go to the Rebbe's explanation. The Rebbe actually penned it as a footnote to his letter that he wrote. The Rebbe used to sometimes write letters, sort of Kollel Proti used to write a letter, and anyone, and then that was sort of so in Tavshin Lamed there was a letter in honor of Chanukah, and then the Rebbe penned this footnote, and we'll read it together. Let's read it. Ner Chanukah mitzvah lanicha al Pesach beisem bachutz v'imo ador ba aliyah manicha b'chaloin asmuch l'rishus harabim. So that's the two options the Gemara gives. That in Pesach Beisai Bachutz, that if it doesn't have a Pesach Beisai, there's a complex. What does it mean he doesn't have Pesach Beisai? So whatever. Bottom line is he doesn't have Pesach. He doesn't have maybe in those days they were climbing up a ladder to get to the or whatever. He doesn't have. Or there's Rashi said he walks through the door of the bias to get like you have in Crown Heights or something. Yeah, in Flapish too, but in Crown Heights it's at Ogil that you have a front door of a house and then you have a little foyer. And then you have the Bnei Abayis go through there, and the Bnei Aliyah walk up steps. So there's only one door. So the door belongs to the Abayis, not to the Bnei Aliyah. So the Bnei Aliyah don't have a door going out to the Rishus Harabim. So then the Gemara says you do it b'chaloin asmuch al Rishus Harabim. Lahor minhag Rabbi Nesein Hashem adlikim ner Chanukah al Pesach echad achadorim v'loy al chaloin. V'rei sukkah Daf Lamed Beis Amid Beis Hurl Banafak Mepuma der Kahana there is Talmud Mahada to do so. So therefore Lubavitch Chassidim should do so. Question is why? Hine Kama Meila Adorim Baliyah practice. That's what Chabad does. Hine Kama Meila Adorim Baliyah Hamadai Kulanich Bechaloin Dafka Yotza Schorem Befsedim. There are those that live Baliyah, right? They live Baliyah. They live on the second floor, and the third floor, and the fourth floor. And Yotzes Chodem Befseidam, the schar of having it on the window is there's a hefset key. Number one, Roiva Aliyahs today in America at least, aim Lamaila Mechaf Ama. It's higher than 20 Ama. Varela Kama Deis, Kishachalon Gavoya Yoiser Mechaf Ama Mekarka Rishus Harabim. Odif Tfei Laniach Bepesach Kilevnei Rishus Harabim Lamaila Mechaf Ama like a Keda. Ulivnei Abayis, odificated it who samach lepesach machtis hashekel shom. The Gemara says that the menorah is not allowed to be higher than 20 amma. The truth is, one could ask why. The Gemara says it's similar to a sukkah, and similar to an eidah. Someone could say, wait a minute, Meila sukkah that 20 amma. Let's say 20 amma is 40 feet. It's less according to the Avraham Chaim Noah, but let's say it's 40 feet. So say the sukkah, the Gemara says that the eye doesn't catch something that's higher than 20 amma. But the Gemara says, say he makes an eidav and it's higher than 20 amma, but he makes a fancy schmancy thing. So then people will catch even that's higher than 20 amma. One person would say, wait a minute, the menorah is litten mishit shokach amma. So you couldn't have something more conspicuous than a light in the darkness. So the menorah should be kosher higher than 20 amma. But Lapoil the Gemara compares the menorah to the sukkah, that just like the sukkah higher than 20 amas is possible, or sholta be'ena, same thing in the menorah. So the Rebbe says number. It's on a lot of places can hold that we count 20 amas not from your house. Obviously, the menorah is within 20 amas of your apartment. But if you're on the second or third floor in an apartment building, we're counting 20 amas from street level. So your window is higher than 20 amma. So you're not yoytze the mitzvah. That's number one. Number two, gam kshachaloin lamata mechaf amma reva menorah shebiyamenu asoyim betvonas shemastidim esanedis. So I have to say the truth is right as we're talking now, it's not exactly the case. But at least when the Rebbe wrote this footnote, that was the case. I want to explain why. Today we have machines that make menorahs. So it's very easy to have a menorah that has a leg and then there is branches going out. All the old timers, they didn't make menorahs that way. There's Gevan Abal Maluch in a shtetl. He took a say it's an expensive menorah. He took a piece of silver, and he had a hammer or other thing, and he bang bang bang. So he would most of the old menorahs there is a wall behind the menorah. The wall behind the menorah is not only for decoration. You could buy today also those are Rebbeisha menorahs for a few $1,000s in the silver shop. It has a wall behind it. But the old timers, when they built those menorahs, it wasn't because they were trying to be fancy. It was just a question of an architectural. It's just an engineering question of how you make it that it should stand strong. So they didn't have factories, they didn't have machinery. So today we're buying a lot of the menorahs you buy today are freestanding. I mean, there's no wall; it's on both sides.
So in that time, the menorah is been like this. Okay, like a wall, there's a piece of metal. That piece of metal, there's four pieces. Four pieces. Legs each now connected to that little piece in the bottom, and each piece of it has two places for two pillars. That's it. That's what it is. Yeah, I describe it here. This here, okay. Then they took like a piece like that, and he makes it like this.
I hear.
Okay.
That's complicated. With two symbols coming from one layer, it is a very complicated.
No, you have Rabbi. It's not a God. And very, very much Rabbi.
Okay.
What about the menorah Fifth Avenue? Is that less than 40?
No, they make sure it should be less than it should be a tad under. They make sure it should be a tad under. So the Rebbe says, so what's the problem? And those menorahs, so if how are you gonna light the menorah? If you're gonna face it to the Rishon Rabbi, so besides the fact that it's a little sakona for the beer to catch a fire, you're standing like this and you're lighting the menorah like this. So besides that, the Bnei Bayis are not seeing the candles. Bnei Bayis are not seeing the candles. So if you're going to say like this, I'm going to light the menorah, and we're going to sing Aneiris Alolu Mos Tzur, and then I'm going to flip the menorah for the Bnei Rishus Rabba. But then you're running into a problem. Adlaka is a mitzvah, Nocha is a mitzvah. Could be that because you can't. Once you light the candles and move it to another place, you're likely not yoitze anymore. But you're going to say
you were initially yoitze.
So you could say that even though you have to have it has to be in the position. Maybe you could say that you're yoitze, but the pashta pshat is that you're not yoitze because you need to have enough oil and it needs to be in the position that for say about a half hour it's going to light. But you moved it 3 minutes after you lit. So therefore, these are the two problems that the Rebbe had. And that's what he says. That's why perhaps the minhag of the chabad Rabbeim it was not to do it b'chaloin, even though the Rebbe says another thing that
What about on the front porch?
What?
What's the problem with that?
What Kirsuma Nisa, by the way, is it goyim or yidden? Kirsuma Nisa means only for Jews. You could say that maybe the Rebbe says it's not true because the Rabbeim lived mostly in a place where there was shtetl, where there was a lot of yid. Can't be that was the reason they didn't do b'chaloim. These are the two reasons.
Wait, so
The Rebbe
is it for a guy with a person or for Yidden?
probably for yidden.
Because they do it all like doing by the White House, they do it all those public places.
I hear.
What's the
I hear. I hear.
chabad problem with doing it on the front porch?
Now let's get to the other question. Why not do it like the Bnei Marava, like a lot of people do today in Eretz Yisrael, which is that you can buy a menorah that has four walls of glass, and inside you have a menorah, and you could put al Pesach Beisim in Bachutz. The way it's in the Gemara. So for this, Munkachi didn't like it. Munkachi didn't like it.
But Savitska has it, you know?
Somebody eats 14 and Jay does that.
But Savitska, it's there.
does that.
It's there in the park, outside in the nice closed thing, and
Okay. Someone just said Minchas Elazar had a funny problem with this. He said, that this is kosher. He said that when you have glass, and the glass is standing between you and the candle. Minchas Elazar had a problem with this. I just want to back up to the beginning of the Minchas Elazar. Minchas Elazar says that his Zayda, the Bnai Yisrael, had made for himself. He got a Baal Malucha to make for him a menorah that has glass on all four sides, like like minhag Yerushalayim. And he said, when Mashiach will come, he's going to use it. He said, why do you have to wait for Mashiach to come? Why can't you do it now? Elamai, this is we see from this that for spiritual reasons, for whatever ruchnistic reasons, he says he can't. He says Mela and the Ramotaka says the truth is, if you look in Tosfos, because we're learning now the sugi. If you look in Tosfos, so it says also in the time of Tosfos, it was already the minhag to be madlik b'fnim. Now that's what the Tosfos says, that we're madlik
because of Sekana.
L'ri nira da'ata ein lochush mosa yadlik. Donu ein lanu akeda l'bnei Rishus Harabim elo l'bnei bayis sherei madlikim mi b'fnim. So we see already in the time of Tosfos. So the says the Minchas Elazar, maybe for them it was a sakana. He says maybe ulai hoya oid b'karoka bezman haramo sakonas nefoshes ma'anochrim anoitzim aproim shelo yaku es haYehudim b'kinosam al dosam sheyiru haYehudim shemrim das bepumbi lahadlik ner Chanukah al hashar v'rechoiv ki yedu hamatzav haYehudim begalusam b'yimei Amos. But he says, but the Mela by us and Minkach today, that reason is not as a shayat. There must be a spiritual reason why the Bnai Yisrael, even though he had, before I read this piece, I was thinking, what's a kasha? Why didn't Pesach Beis and Bachutz? Do you think they had plexiglass? Do you think they had didn't have it? But his Zayda did have it, and he had it in his house, and then it eventually was stolen and broke. Well, why didn't he use it? It must have been a spiritual reason. He says it's not the reason because he was scared of the sakana, because it wasn't sakana. By the way, even in the time of the Ramah, I'm not so sure there was a sakana. The Ramah lived in Krakow in a very today. If you go to Krakow, where the Ramah lived, it's a very trendy neighborhood, by the way. And his father was a real estate developer, and his father developed most of that neighborhood. And it was a Jewish place. It was a ghetto, so it was gated. So if the Yidden would have put al Kollel Pesach basis, it wouldn't have been bothered. It seems no, but it could be that it could still say, but that the reason why, because things come and go. You see, we're in New York, we're very safe. But no more, someone's sitting here and saying that he thinks that it's dangerous, maybe places. So it could be it was Kadei Shaloi Lachalak. Could be one, but he gives a different thing. He has a very interesting. He doesn't say it mamish in these words, but he does say it. He says, "I don't understand. How are you supposed to put it on Pesach basic? There's a wind that's going to blow out the menorah." So the din is that you have to, even though Kaf Sein Zoklov, you have to have enough shemen that should be there. It should be able to light. Sukkah that's going to be on a svina and a ruch matzui is going to destroy it. The sukkah is not kosher. If you have blood and you mechas it, and the ruach matzui is going to be megalit, you never did the mitzvah. So if you're going to light the menorah al Pesach Beis, so how could so I understand. He says maybe in Baghdad, maybe in Pumpadisa, there wasn't such a wind in the winter. I know you got to go to those places.
Well, it's warmer. It's a much warmer climate.
Have a warmer climate. Maybe there wasn't such a ruach mitzuya that'll, or at least a ruach mitzuya.
Rainy season. It's rain comes with wind, so
right.
It is the rainy season.
He's not sure. He says, I don't know. But he says, so Elamai, you're going to say that it has to be with glass walls. Although Yishtamet Kadma Poiskim to mention that you need to have. He says even Svardi Poiskim, the Marif Agis that talks about
glass top because of the rain.
he says maybe that you have glass, but he talks about if you see a Tamat Chochem, but you're on the other side of the glass, if you're mechuyev to stand up. So, but why didn't he mention about Ner Chanukah? He's exactly right. He says maybe because it's Leroisim Belvand, and he says Derech Schuchis maybe is a problem, and maybe not, and maybe it's Swanissa, back and forth. He says Tzorechiyun. So, bottom line is, it could be, he doesn't say it beferish, but it could be what he's thinking is that the original takana was in Eretz Yisrael and the Medinas Asmuchas to Eretz Yisrael, where a regular ruach is not gonna be machabed the natives tapes chbeis machutz. But even that lived later in countries that a regular wind would blow it out, so that's why the minhag changed not to have a pesach base. You can build glass. So number one, maybe they didn't have the glass, and the minhag already stayed. Number two, maybe they had a problem with glass that the Ria Deres Chuknis is not good enough. So therefore, he says that's us. So now, so he holds that the minhag of bottom line, his grandfather had a menorah with glass, and still he didn't do it al Pesach Beis and Bachutz. So that's about. And then there's the chabad minhag about not doing it b'chaloin.
And that's what
That
they
ever
do even in Israel, not to
Chabad,
on
no.
the porch in Israel.
No. The Rebbe at the end, the Rebbe said a beautiful word. The Rebbe said there was once one of the Chassidim that there was a whole discussion. Oh, I'm sorry, the Rav of Lublin, the Torah Chesed, was Mordechai Gaon, and he was a Chassid of the Tzemach Tzedek. So once they had a discussion about Zecher and Zecher Amalek. So he said, let it be Zecher, a big good up Mekan Amalek. So the Rebbe said, if your minhag is to do it by the door, if your minhag is to do it at the window, the ikar is, and it should be near mitzvah v'torah or v'derech chaim techachos mutzah, and that we should take it. We should be matzliach in our mitzvah Bnei Chanukah b'zum nisa. Okay, so since this is all akdama, I want to talk about lamata masoret tvachim. So I want to tell you right away, because we're learning the sugya, I said, you know what? Anyway, I was going to buy a shamoshim and oil, so I went Thursday night to buy, and I went to Bingo's, and they had their nice shamoshim. They had these big, nice shamoshim that could last last 24 hours, and like today oil. Imagine you used to. You could put oil. You could put for 12 hours oil. It doesn't. And they have pure olive oil. Not to don't try to save a nickel and dime of hummus oil against the shilas. That they grind the olives. This is considered olive oil, not considered olive oil. Buy real olive oil. It costs you another $2 a bottle.
Buy it at a regular store. It doesn't have to be in a kosher store.
Yeah, you can buy it in Costco.
Extra virgin olive oil.
Yes,
Not
not that part. I don't know why they're pushing this Palmas olive oil, which it's cheaper, but we want to be mahadir. And
from olive oil.
it's made of crushed olives. It's not. You could ask. This is not the regular olive oil that Chazal was talking about. Olive oil Chazal was talking about is you took olives, you pressed it, and out came a juice called oil. Palmas olive oil is something they didn't have Bisman Chazal. So it could be you'll say, if Rabbeinu Verabashi had it and it's $1 cheaper a bottle, they would have bought it and they would have said the Gemara that's also good. I don't know, but Lepel didn't have. That's not Shemazai. The Gemara is talking about. And would have been kosher for menorah, probably be possible for the menorah. So that's that. Okay. In other words, for sure, if you're trying to, there's two reasons why we're using Shemazai in the menorah. One is because it's tzalul, so you could say Palmas is just as good. But there are other reasons we were trying to do daimah to the Beis Hamikdash. The Beis Hamikdash, there's no question that Palmas oil was possible for the Beis Hamikdash. Anyway, spend the other $2 and buy real olive oil. Question is, so I started telling you a story. So I see that they have tables, and always I had no. I didn't like. You have to have a safe table. You have little children. So I used to put a table. It was higher than 10 tvachim. Well, what can I do? But now I see they sell tables. You can adjust the table. It could be 14 inches, and it could be 21 inches, or it could be 25 inches.
And it's strong or not?
And yeah, strong table. $29.99. So I'm just letting you know before we even getting into the sugya that if you're doing it by chaloin, it's not up to you. It's wherever your chaloin is, and probably most houses it's lamata masar tefachim anyway. But anyway, you're not building the window. No one's asking you questions over here. And if you hold that the window is the way to go, so then the Magen Avraham says that even if your window sill is higher than 10 tefachim, that's better. That's a more of a hidur mitzvah than lamata masar tefachim. So if you're anyway putting it by the window, don't start measuring how high your window sill is. But if you're doing it at the door between the dining room and the living room, or you're doing a Pesach base and machutz like people started doing now in New York with buying the thing with the glass. So the shaila is the Gemara says that that you're supposed to put it lamata masar tefachim, which is pretty low, The Rishonim don't, the Rif and the Rambam don't bring it. Lapol the Shulchan Paskins that it's you should put the menorah lamata masar tefachim. It's kosher lamayla masar.
You said,
The Shulchan
and where does he get it from?
the Gemara.
And
And where did the Gemara get from? A very funny story with a camel with a heavy load of pishta. We spoke about Tuesday. The bottom line is the Gemara says it should be under 10 tefachim. Shulchan brings it. So I want to read with you a little piece in the Torah and then in the Beis Yosef. The Torah writes, "Mitzvah lanicha lamata masar tefachim, nicha lamayla masar tefachim yotza." That the mitzvah is to put it lower than 10 tefachim. Avli nicha lamayla mechaf amma afila the oven lo yotza. The lo sholta be'ena. The leke pirsum enisa. Higher than 20 amma, you're not yotza. There's no pirsum enisa because of Rabbeinu Yoel Halevi Davka Shamanicha bechutz. Shamanicha bebayis afila b'lamayla be'esem amma kshed. If it's in your house, it's higher even if it's higher than 20 amma. The minhag gabi sukkah im the fanas magis le schach fil la mal mochafam kshev the sholte beina and nirle den and den den la raya the hasam bin shetish latene begag the kimt shmachitz magin la gadl al yodem yish latene begag aber doch tzarich shil latene beneides kimt shem la mal mochaf the sholte beina my naf kimina begag shodain la mal men bishvil lo sholte beina tfei. I don't understand. By a sukkah we say the walls are going high, the eye is following the walls, but by a menorah it cannot be higher than 20 amas. So he slugged up Rabbeinu Yoel. But the mayor of Rottenberg, he medaktek lanicha l'mayla megimel tvachim u'lamata masar tvachim. So the Beis Yosef asks, first of all, why did he wait to bring the mayor of Rottenberg all the way to the end? And what's the big chiddush of the mayor of Rottenberg? That's what the Gemara says to do. It's not a big chiddush for the mayor of Rottenberg. The Beis Yosef says, "Mekom hakamlinya ma'is anira." The kiv and the kiv in the lahana chirabutz mitzvos betoich yutfachim already for ram mitzvos betoich bein lamayla me yud hilkach lamavik mitzvos a little bit kol alma odev tvei the haina betoich asar tvachim ba'af b'shem mord chikos of the achshov shehur lanicha b'fnim nira denk veda lanicha lamayla me yud the law the muchrik person. I love when you have a girsa issue. The Mordechai is always fraught with girsa issues. The Mordechai says that Bisman Hazeh, the whole when the Gemara says to do it Lamata Masar Tvachim, it doesn't apply Bisman Hazeh. It doesn't apply.
maybe why not? Maybe we're also taller.
But that's not what he said because we're taller. He said, why not? So either he said because the law Pirsum or the Cain Pirsum. So there's two ways of really reading him. One way, one
Pearson now than it was at that time.
Let me explain.
Pearson
Let me explain. One way to say is that to us, the muchich person. What does it mean, the muchich person? Why do we need to have it lamata masar tvachim? The Rosh says is no regular people don't put a candelabra lower than 10 tvachim. It's very low. Normal people, you put a chandelier from the ceiling. You put a chandelier, a candelabra on the table. So low, you're going to put lamata masar tvachim. You're practically on the floor. So a person that walks by says, "What this crazy guy is doing? He's putting a candelabra a few inches from the floor. Why are you doing this?" He says, because I'm doing it for mitzvahs ner Chanukah. Everyone can tell right away that this candelabra is not here for fanciness or for light.
The real menorah was
higher, for sure.
So that's
For sure. Interesting. It's different.
It's very different.
Yeah. And that's what the Rosh says. That's the reason. The reason is, as I mentioned, the Rosh says v'gam, but this is the second reason.
What's so wrong with getting light from it? What's the problem?
Because maybe a person is going to think that it's a fancy candelabra and that's why he lit it. The menorahs those days didn't look like menorahs that came from from a Judaic store. It was a candelabra. So if now that the person puts it low, and no normal person puts a candelabra so low to the ground, so it's nicker that it's done for the mitzvah. So there's two ways of learning the Mordechai. One way of learning the Mordechai is the muchach, which is always that this is the pshat that's been fixed. The fixer man fixed it. There's a favor, and that's a little doichik. Maybe he thought that the pshat is like this. The muchach means that because we're menorahs inside, we're all tamid chachamim, so we know the menorahs for the mitzvah. We made the bracha in it. The reason you'd put it lamata masaret tvachim if it's a pesach beisim bachutz for people that are walking in the Rishon Sarab. But now that we're anyway doing it in the house, and we're all tamid chachamim, so that's maybe what the Bacher Azetze, the printer, tried to make a pshat for us and tried to help us. Let me explore what the less likely pshat, which I think is the true pshat. I think the true pshat is like this. The emes of pshat is, the Bach says, what happened there? He brings Rabbeinu Yoel and then Marat Marottenberg. What's going on here? So he says, the pshat is like this. Rabbeinu Yoel said that who cares higher than 20 Amir? The Tur didn't understand what he said. He didn't say, but he said that, let's explain. Chazal said that you have to put your menorah al Pesach Beisim Machutz. Why? The Pirsum Nisa. If you door Ba'aliyah, put it B'chaloin. B'shas Sakona, put it on your table. So what's the pshat? B'shas Sakona, you should do it on the table. Is the pshat is now you're going to do Pirsum Nisa instead of for the people in the street for your family, which it seems like most of the Rishonim learn this way, or you say no. Chazal said there's two parts of mitzvahs Neiach Chanukah. One is that Lashana Acheres, they found a pach echad shel, and then to remember the miracle, we light a menorah. And we also want to publicize the nest. But there's a mitzvah, if you are one, let me ask a question. According to Chazal, if you drop a man on an island, and there is no one there, 20 miles on all sides. He bought last night, as I was reading his piece, as an island in Nicaragua. If you want, it's on sale right now for $475,000.
Oh,
it's it's 10 miles.
Chabad there?
There's a little house with 3 bedrooms, and there's the ocean from Alafir Zayden. So say you decide to buy that island. So now, and you're the only man on the island. So is there still a mitzvah of lighting their Chanukah?
Sure.
So someone gets. So there's two things in their Chanukah. There's the actual mitzvah, and there is Pirsumei Nisa. So the question is, when the Gemara said B'shas Sakona Manich al Shulchanoi, is it because now we're going to have Pirsumei Nisa for the family, or we don't need Pirsumei Nisa? So Rabbeinu Yoel held.
So why is it that there is an extra bracha for
It's not an extra bracha.
Why not? Same. So
That's it. So it is. It's one mitzvah, and they added to it also Pirsumei Nisa. And Rabbeinu Yoel said, the Bismana said that we do it in their house, so there's no Pirsumei Nisa. So why did the Chazal say it's possible if it's higher than 20 amma? The Lo Sholta Bein, and people can't see it. Who cares about seeing, not seeing? Since you're doing it in the house, this mitzvah has nothing to do with Pirsumei Nisa. It's only to do with the mitzvah of Adlokas Neiach Chanukah. Therefore, once you read the Rabbeinu Yoel, you're going to say, according to the Rabbeinu Yoel, if the menorah is higher than 20 amma, it's kosher. So there's no hider mitzvah to put the menorah lamata masaret tvachim. So the Beis Yosef said, no. I want to tell you, by the way, I hold that Rabbeinu Yoel is wrong. And by the way, I found the Manam Rothenberg is on my side. You know what? He used to put his menorah lamata masaret tvachim. What's the chiddush the Gemara? No. The chiddush was that even though he did it in his house, he did it lamata masaret tvachim. Yeah, you know what? As I write, Rabbeinu Yoel was wrong. I'm showing you from this that Rabbeinu Yoel was wrong. I'm not sure I'm saying I think that's what the Bach is saying. I think this is the pshat in the Mordechai. He said, you don't need Lamata Masaret Tvachim because we don't need Pirsumei Nisa. So higher than 20 amas is good, and Lamata Masaret Tvachim is good. Problem is, the Mordechai is voted out. Why is he voted out? The Shulchan Aruch Paskins Befedish in Siman Tov Reish Ayin Aleph, the Shulchan Aruch says that it's mitzvah lanicha besoy chasoret tvachim. Neiach Chanukah in the Siman Tov Reish Ayin Aleph Sivov, mitzvah lanicha lamata masoret tvachim. But it's a mitzvah to put it lamata
But
masar tvachim.
the average table is more than 3 feet high.
So that's why I'm telling you that if you want to go to Bingo's today, they have on sale for $29.99. You could buy a table.
And they're
That-
under Ashkacha?
There's a table.
Does it matter how big the menorah is or no?
So you could ask. It's a good question, but I would say maybe not. I don't know if it's but I hear it's a good question. It's a very good question. If the candle of the has to be also lamata masarat tvachim, or only the base of the menorah is good enough for that to be lamata masarat tvachim. It's a good question, but so the bottom line is Shulchan Aruch does say that it's so the truth is you have to be practical. If there's little kids in the house, you could put lamata masarat tvachim, and there could be a fire hazard. So maybe it's not right to put a lamata masarat tvachim. It's only a hider mitzvah. You shouldn't have a fire hazard trying to hider. But it's not a problem because you bought a safe table and the table is strong and it's sturdy and it's standing good. It's not ma'akev anyway. It's only a hider mitzvah. The Shulchan Aruch says it's a hider mitzvah. It's mitzvah menamufka to keep it low. Keep it lamata masarat tvachim.
5 feet high or whatever, if you have back issues and you want to do it tall.
No, it's only a mitzvah menamufka. It's only a mitzvah menamufka.
You said before that if it's not, if you have like I live on the 5th floor of a building, by the way, obviously it's more than 40. Let's assume that it's an is 2 feet, so it's more than 40 feet high because if you have a story, it's 10 feet.
Right.
It's 50 feet.
Right.
So,
You have a problem. Some place can hold it. You count not from your house. You count from outside.
and others say that even if you're in the Empire State Building, 100 story on the rooftop, you put a menorah there, and it goes from the ground level, not from the ground.
Right. From the Rishon Rabbi.
And from the Shulchan, from the Gemara, do we have any indication one way or the other?
No, I think the poship shot is when you look from the Rishon Rabbi. That's because you're trying to make a hecker of the Rishon Rabbi.
Even your house,
Ultimately, the World Trade Center, if you're on the top of the World Trade Center and you have on the rooftop a big menorah, it's a bigger percentage so that if it's on the ground floor.
And so I said before, it's strange that the Gemara compares sukkah to menorah. The menorah is at night and it's shining and it catches the eye even if it's higher than 20 amma. Well, the Gemara holds that way. There's a pella. Well, the Chazal accepted that l'mayla mechaf amma is possible. So it's really, that's the issue. You're right. In your building, if you're higher than 40 feet from the ground, there's a big problem.
I make a bracha. No one ever said don't make that it's such a suffix. Don't make a bracha. I mean,
the truth is, it's not that much worse than if you did it al shulchanoi. Especially now that your menorah is probably not a menorah that has. Does it have a metal back? No. So it's nicker also to bnei bayis.
Yes.
How bad could it be?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's exactly the problem. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
You're saying about Goya, about lighting outside your house that is Goya over that.
In Eretz Yisrael, they make menorahs that have 4 walls of glass, so you could put it al Pesach Beisim Bachutz on the door going out to the street. And
Why? Because you could see the mile of glass.
the mile of glass is that the wind is not going to blow out the menorah.
The glass is covering the wick.
It's around,
and if it
like
rains,
4 walls,
it won't
and they make a nice cover on the top that will allow the rain not to go in, but allow the soot to go out,
Right.
like a chimney, right? And allow some oxygen to go in, right? Not going to kill the oxygen.
Right.
So it's a very nice piece, but
They have the hearing back.
probably buy it. I'm sure you can buy it somewhere here. I'm sure you can buy it somewhere here.
He said, only if you light outside in the street.
Right.
I thought you said because there are people that light outside their apartment.
I'm talking about 2 things. I was talking about the Chaloin issue and a Pesach Beisim Bachutz. A Pesach Beisim Bachutz, the only way to do it in New York is if you buy this special menorah that has 4 walls of glass or plexiglass, and it has a cover.
I've seen people that light in their apartment building outside the house in a common area.
Mm.
And it's inside the building, but they have something about lighting it outside.
Well, I hear.
You ever heard of this? People doing it? I've seen it over
I
here.
hear. I hear now.
I saw two people.
I hear now.
And what I'm concerned is,
It's not
my concern. A, safety. If something happens, I show them, I don't know if they're looking at every minute,
well,
or the fire.
right.
And secondly, one woman that looks, again, it's not my concern, it's our menorah, looks like it's silver menorah.
Yeah.
I don't know what to read outside my door. So somebody could grab it and go by.
So this is
Exactly.
the sign, do not steal this.
It's not my.
Don't feel the sign too. It's not a sign.
Like I just said,
Smile, you're on camera.
smart woman.
Yeah. It's Roman.
Owner has
That's even,
owner has a shotgun.
but it's not communal fun.
Okay.
Not code.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I hear. Okay.
It's never, read it.
No.
Outside.
No. The truth is,
Two people.
right. It's not terrible. I mean, according to Rashi, it's a Pesach Beis Lechotzer, so that's kosher.
If there's any mind of doing.
Yeah, according to Rashi, because Rashi holds that Pesach Beis Mechutz is Beis Lechotzer. We don't paskin that way. We paskin that Pesach Beis means Dafke Beis L'Rishus Rabbim. We don't paskin that way. So the truth is, according to the way we pass in Shulchan Aruch, doing it from the door to the dining room and living room, or the door from your house to the foyer to the hallway in the apartment building is Hainu. It's the same thing.
The more people see it,
There you go, right inside door.
Yeah,
Right?
so you didn't gain anything by doing it to.
No, he said,
there are more
No,
presuming these by the
according to Rashi, it's.
wouldn't there be more presuming these by the front door?
But that's not the way we paskin. According to Rashi, it's talking better. Okay, I want to go quick.
the only human mitzvah is like you're doing it troll, the lighting the hut.
Yeah, they allow it in Pesach Beis and Bachutz with that special contraction.
The hut, each way.
Not in Lechotza, Pesach Beis and Bachutz they do it.
No, but in outside.
Yeah, they do it to the street.
It's outside the street.
Yes, outside to the street.
Outside.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
That's right.
My mother asked a question. She organizes mafzoim, so they're going to a lot of nursing homes, and the nursing homes have a policy that you can't light candles because for whatever reasons, obviously reasons that they don't want to have people lighting candles. So the question is, could we light menorah with the seniors in the nursing homes or in rehabilitation centers with a electric menorah? So the thing is that there is a big discussion about Ner Shabbos and Ner Chanukah using electric menorah, using electricity. So there was a lot of. I gave a shiur about it 2 weeks ago about the Shabbos candle, and I said that there's a lot of problems with the Shabbos candle with electricity. A lot of them are technical problems. You have to have a shem and a psila. You have to have a certain amount of shem and a psila here that you're going to be able to light the candle. You're going to be able to sing Kabbalah Shabbos Shalom Aleichem, sit down and eat the meal to the light of the candle. But when you have electricity, the electricity is not in your house. The electricity is coming from the grid. And so you make a bracha. What happens if there's a blackout? Not just because a blackout is not likely to happen, but that's what some poskim say. Other poskim have all kinds of other problems. Where is the shemen? Where is the psila? So I said then that I think that if it was a Shabbos candle and you had no choice, a battery is much better. A battery is much better because better than electric battery. Why is it better? Because the shem and psila is in your hand. The battery is right here. The shem and psila is in your hand. So a lot of the tightness that they have against the electric doesn't apply by a battery menorah. The shemen is in your hand. The psila is in your hand. There's other issues that they have which would still remain.
You have control over it.
It's in your hand. The battery's in your hand.
So meaning you
I can put a battery in my pocket.
Meaning you have control on it.
Yes.
It's finite.
And right. So you have it. But the thing is, there's other issues. Where's the shem and where's the psila? Is it a real psila? Is the old bulbs had maybe a psila, but the new bulbs that we have that are LED or whatever, there's no psila there. I was thinking to myself this week that Chazal made a special thing of Neir Psila that's kosher for it's kosher for Neir Shabbos, and some things are possible. But by Chanukah candle, we say because it's also lishtamish loidas, it doesn't matter. Use any shem and any psila, any shem and any psila. So I think this is another thing why to be makel for someone that can't use real oil and candles. That on Chanukah, that to be double makel, that you could be able to use a battery menorah.
Did you make a bracha?
So I have an uncle who's a choshev erov in Milan. Many of you drink his wines. If wines are coming from Italy, probably his hefsher is on it. And
What's this?
Rav Belino.
Oh.
So he decided 100% you can make a bracha on it.
On the
So
battery.
yeah, on the battery,
Okay, typical.
any bulb. Okay, so listen, it wasn't my decision to make, and say that. So now it's okay. So I'm sharing that. So I get a phone call now for Bishliach. He's planning to come. He's on the plane right now going to China. He's going to come back from China to be with the family last day of Chanukah. So he's going to go on the plane on 10 o'clock in the morning. He's getting on the plane. 1 hour later, at 11, he lands in JFK. At 11 o'clock, yeah. A.M. 10 a.m. he gets on the plane. 1 hour later, 11 o'clock, he lands in JFK. Okay. When he goes to China, he loses 3 days.
Oh.
He gets on the plane Motzei Shabbos and he lands there Tuesday. Exactly. He's crossing a date line.
Well, I mean, what's the difference in time? Well, that.
So,
More. In 1 day. 24 hours.
no, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. You can look on your phone. You could just you could do you could go on the phone.
The current time in Beijing. Google current time in Beijing. It will tell you.
No. You want to do? Sure. Okay. Okay.
It's a Shandu, right?
Shandu, yeah, Shandu. What time is it now in Shandu? Just put Shandu, China.
Beijing, it's 12:14 a.m.
Like 10 people.
on Monday, so they're 25 hours ahead. No, excuse me. They're it's now 11:15 in New York.
25 hours.
So they're no, it's the
13 hours.
It's
They're 13 hours ahead. Yes,
13. Yeah, 13.
Yes. At 13, it's now
1 day.
it's 13 hours ahead. Okay. So now, so here would be an interesting shaila. He gets on the plane. Okay, he gets a little later. He davens minhag. He gets a little later. He davens ma'ida. Okay. What do? You're eating on the plane. You're sleeping on the plane. You probably light the menorah on the plane. If you take a battery-operated menorah, you could probably light it on the plane.
You get away with
You
it.
could even put it al saloon. You could even put it next to the window. But you're higher than
Yeah,
you're higher than 20 amma from the ground.
that's for sure.
So now say you could, or alternatively, he's not going to light the menorah. Now, either way, when he gets to New York, that night when he's going to light menorah, say he lights the menorah on the plane.
Same day.
I just want to accentuate the shaila.
Same day, right?
Huh?
If it was fasting.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm now.
Loses the day when he comes back, or the same day? When flying. Which way is he flying?
So I really the Metzias. I have to. I'm not sure the Metzias of the thing. I'm now using, and I'm gonna because it's late, and the Metzias, and I'm gonna glean at the Tuesday night. I just want to bring up the shaila. I'm not. I don't know even I should go into the answer. I'm just gonna. The question is: say he lights the menorah on the plane. I just want to accentuate the shaila.
With a battery.
Yeah, with a battery. He lands, and it's Tuesday. Now he's going to light the menorah in his apartment in New York with his Kindle. In the plane, he lit 7 candles. Now, when he lights the menorah, Tuesday evening.
No, that's
So Wednesday. I'm sorry, he's flying on Wednesday. I'm sorry, he's flying on Wednesday.
Thursday,
Yeah, I'm sorry, he's flying on Wednesday. So he lit the menorah. If he comes to New York. Now, when he's going to light the menorah Wednesday evening with his family, is he going to light 8 candles or 7 candles?
It goes by the well, for the children, for the family, it's the 7th night in New York.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
made the answer. He doesn't like it. Somebody else has to like it.
yeah. Someone else should light.
So
You ever win?
I don't like my odds night. You don't like tonight's the 6th night. I'm lighting 6.
right.
Somebody flew from Australia in 770 and on Shabbos Friday night. So I think the Rebbe said to them, "Good jump to,"
Okay, you know what? The time is late. I'll give you a hint. There's the Gemara has a machloikis. Why Beishama says you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 6, 7, 8. It's because of Mailim Bekoidish, or you're counting the days. I think it might have to do with this machloikis. So I just gave a hint of the teretz, and in Mitzvah Hashem for the full teretz, the time is short now, and it's really you have to get into the Gemara. We're learning this Gemara. I mean, yes. So I just want to finish off by saying like this. So we had here 3 shilas. The first shilah is about Lamata Masara Tvachim. Definitely that if you could, the Shulchan Aruch paskins that you should try to do the candle Lamata Masara Tvachim. And as I mentioned, the shir that perhaps there's another remez in the inyan of Lamata Masara Tvachim. Oh, by the way, there's a picture of the Rebbe's menorah. The Rebbe used a shear, and he had a very low menorah. It was a very simple menorah because he got it from his father-in-law. He never wanted to use anything else. He had a very, so it was, if you look in the picture, it looks like the Rebbe was medayik to have a menorah Lamata Masora Tvachim. Okay, Ma'asera. If you could do the menorah Lamata Masora Tvachim, that's very nice. And I want to add something to it that lately someone asked why the Rebbe so many times said Lamata Masora Tvachim. What's to do with Lamata Masora Tvachim? The answer is because the Gemara says Ma'olam lo yor d'shchina Lamata Masora Tvachim. When we say in all the Maimorim Chassidus about Chanukah that Chanukah is something unique, that we wait that it should be dark, and we wait to go in a place of the Shusarabim, because the koyach of Ner Chanukah is so strong. It's also l'shtamish lo'idam. It's ein on rishus. It's such a kedusha that he even has the koyach to knock out the choshech and to knock out the rishus harabim. Ad the kalya rigla the tarmedoi. So the Maimah says. Last night I didn't get a chance to say it in the Maimah. The Maimah says tup shotim kal yedigla tarmedoi means until the tarmedoi means moiredus. The moired oil malchus shamayim, and with the kedusha that we bring out in the street is so much that we get rid of the Gemara says that this was a ummah called tarmedoi. The Aruch says that they were avdei shloima shemordu. So they were moired and they went against the oil malchus shamayim. And we, the Kedusha, the menorah, is to get rid of such a darkness of these people that go against El Malchus Shemayim. But a deeper pshat in Chassidus says, Ad the Kalya Tarmedoi. The word Kalya means from Kaloisa Nefesh. Not only we get rid of the Tarmedoi, but we make the Tarmedoi itself should have Kaloisa Nefesh. Unbelievable. That these guys, the worst guys, should have Kaloisa Nefesh to come close to Hashem. The Frierdiker Rebbe said, that when you're at the menorah, you should sit there for a half hour and you should listen to the story that the candles are telling you. So definitely this year, the Eibush Halfon, that every one of us should look at the candles until we have Kalois and Nefesh. That's why it's a mitzvah, hidden mitzvah to put it Lamata Masvara Tvachim, to bring the Shechina down Lamata Masvara Tvachim. The Eibush Halfon, that we should be zoicha this year to bring down with the light of the menorah, the Shechina should be Lamata Masara Tvachim, Bebias Mashiach Tzidkeinu.
Amen. Amen.
Tomorrow I have to be in the hospital. Operation in the morning. I have to be there at 6 o'clock. What's the earliest time I can put Thomas and Phil in?
What does the calendar say about the earliest? I will give a look for 1 second. What time do you have to be in the house?
I have to be in the hospital at 6 o'clock, and the operation is supposedly at 8 o'clock. So I wanted to know between 6 and 8, what's the earliest time I can put on Thomas and Phil?
Do you have on the chair, what time is there release for tomorrow? I'm not just film for tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, I'm not just. Ask them to I'll be around. Yeah?
609.
609? It's very strenuous for elderly people. They have an elevator?
What? No. Who was?
Or from the outside?
What?
How's it work?
Zoom in?
It's inside the building? Okay, I'll ask him.
You was? Did anybody was?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. So what you should do is simple.
Okay.
First of all, if anyone joined us online, please remember tonight is a Moire de Fabrengen. So make sure that you're coming to Fabrengen tonight and that you bring a cover with you. And if you and if there is a WhatsApp group that you're on, that you post it on the WhatsApp group so the Eden should know about